My daughter didn't even show up to her father's funeral. 3 days later, she called not to grieve, not to apologize, but to demand $500,000 from his life insurance to buy a car. I thought grief had already broken me, but nothing prepared me for the truth behind her request, a truth that dragged me into a danger I never saw coming. Sometimes the people you raise become the people who can hurt you the most. If this story touches something in you, don't forget to hit that like button, share, and subscribe. Your truth deserves to be echoed. Some betrayals don't make noise. They don't come with shouting, arguments, or slammed doors. Some betrayals are quiet. So quiet they echoed louder than screams. My husband, my partner of 34 years, was gone. And on the morning of his funeral, as I stood in my black dress, hands trembling around a folded program with his name on it, the pew beside me remained empty. My only daughter, my own child, never walked through those doors. It wasn't an accident. She didn't call. She didn't text. She chose silence. People whispered around me. Where is she? Why isn't she here for her father? Surely something happened. But nothing happened. She simply didn't come. And the worst part, I didn't even know why. I kept looking back at the entrance, praying for her silhouette, praying for a last-minute miracle, praying for my daughter to remember who raised her, who loved her, who gave her everything. But the door stayed closed. The choir began singing, the hymn trembling through the room. But my throat felt tight, blocked by a grief that wasn't just about death, but abandonment. And I didn't know then that her absence was just the beginning of a much deeper betrayal. When the funeral ended, people hugged me, offering condolences through tears. But every time someone said, "I'm so sorry for your loss," I wanted to ask them which loss they meant, my husband or my daughter. Because in that moment, both felt gone. At home, the silence felt heavier. Every photo on the wall reminded me of us as a family, birthdays, graduations, vacations, little moments we never thought would fade. And she had missed the final moment we were all supposed to be together. Around evening, unable to hold it in, I called her. "Sweetheart, where were you?" I said, trying to keep my voice from shaking. There was a pause, a long one, too long. Then she said, emotionless, "I was busy." Busy. That was the explanation for disappearing on her father's last goodbye. Something in me cracked. Not loud, not dramatic. Just a small fracture that hurt far more than any scream could. I wanted to demand answers. I wanted to ask who or what could possibly be more important than her father's funeral. But I didn't, because I could feel it. A distance in her voice. A coldness I didn't recognize. Something was wrong. Something bigger than just, "I was busy." And I didn't know that the next thing she asked would knock the air out of my lungs. 3 days after the funeral, the phone rang. It wasn't grief counseling. It wasn't family checking in. It wasn't a neighbor offering comfort. It was my daughter. "Mom," she said, her tone suddenly urgent, "we need to talk about Dad's life insurance." My heart stilled. "The insurance?" I repeated softly. "Why?" She exhaled loudly, impatient. "Because I need access to the money." My chest tightened. "Sweetheart, what do you mean, access? The insurance hasn't even been processed yet. That's why I'm calling." She snapped. "When it comes through, I need $500,000. I need it immediately. My legs nearly gave out. $500,000. My late husband's insurance. And she hadn't even shown up to his funeral? What do you need that kind of money for? I whispered. Another pause. Then, without shame, without softness, without any hesitation at all, she said, I'm buying a car. A car. My husband had worked his entire life, saved, planned, and provided, never imagining that the money meant to protect our family would be turned into leather seats and shiny paint. I gripped the edge of the kitchen counter as the world blurred. The betrayal wasn't just in her request. It was in her tone. Cold, entitled, demanding. As if she was owed. As if grief was trivial. As if her father's death was a transaction. I swallowed hard. Sweetheart, your father died less than a week ago. We can talk about the insurance later, but not like this. Her tone turned sharp, hostile. So you're going to hoard it all for yourself? Is that what your plan? Pretend to be helpless so you can keep the full payout? A wave of dizziness washed over me. Is that what you think of me? My voice cracked. I gave you everything. I raised you alone for years while he worked overseas. How can you? I need the money, Mom. Just give me what I'm asking for. Her insistence, her disregard, her disgusted sighs. They weren't the daughter I knew. Not the girl who used to cry when I got sick. Not the girl who once held my hand walking into school. Not the girl who used to beg her father to tuck her in twice. Something had changed. Something deep. And I began to wonder, what was she hiding? What could twist my daughter into someone I no longer recognized? That night, long after the call ended, I sat on my bed staring at the ceiling. Why hadn't she come to the funeral? Why was she suddenly obsessed with money? Why was she cold, detached, almost angry? None of it fit. My husband always believed in her. He left that insurance so she'd be safe. So we'd be safe. But she didn't want safety. She wanted something else. Something expensive. Something urgent. Something she couldn't explain. And there was only one way to find out the truth. I had to follow the trail she thought I'd never notice. The morning after that phone call, the house felt heavier than usual. Not because of grief alone, but because of the questions her voice had left behind. Questions that didn't let me sleep. Questions that curled into the corners of the room and whispered doubts into my ear. Why didn't she come? Why did she need $500,000? Why did she sound angry instead of hurt? And why did she talk to me like I was the enemy? I moved through the kitchen like a stranger in my own home. Every plate, every spoon, every chair felt like it belonged to a life that no longer made sense. I brewed tea, but the cup shook in my hands. My daughter, my flesh and blood, had spoken to me with a coldness I didn't understand. Not even after the hardest moments in her teenage years had she spoken that way. Something was wrong, deeply wrong. I wandered toward the living room, eyes catching on the family photos scattered across the shelf. Each one was a reminder of laughter and milestones now tinged with sorrow. A picture of the three of us at the beach, sand between toes, sun burning our shoulders. A graduation photo with proud smiles that felt like relics of another life. Then my gaze fell on a small wooden box beside the shelf, the place where I kept unopened mail. Bills, advertisements, reminders of daily responsibilities. But on top of the stack was something I hadn't noticed before. A letter addressed to my daughter. Not the usual bank envelope or college advertisement. This one looked official, urgent.
A thin strip of red print at the top read, "Final Notice." My heart skipped a beat. I shouldn't open it. It wasn't mine. But another voice whispered, "You're her mother, and something is very wrong." I opened it, hands trembling. Inside was a notice from a lender, one of those high-interest short-term loans. She owed money. A lot of it. More than I had ever imagined. I sank onto the sofa as I scanned the details. Multiple missed payments, a threat of legal action, an urgent demand for repayment. The amount she owed was nowhere near $500,000, but losing the loan could ruin her credit, drag her into wage garnishments, and spiral her into deeper financial trouble. Then why ask for $500,000? The number didn't match the problem, not unless there was another problem, a problem she hadn't put in writing. I rubbed my face over my face, trying to gather my thoughts. How long had she been drowning in debt? Why hadn't she told me? Why hadn't she come to me before things spiraled? As a mother, it felt like a personal failure, as if somewhere along the line I had missed a sign. But another part of me knew. This wasn't about one loan. No one skips a parent's funeral because they're behind on payments. Something bigger was going on. My phone buzzed, snapping me out of my thoughts. A notification from our family phone plan. An unread voicemail appeared from unknown number. Date: the morning of the funeral. My chest tightened. Was this why she didn't come? I pressed play. A woman's voice spilled out. "Listen, we need the rest of the money today. I don't care what you have to do. Sell something, borrow, whatever. Don't make us come find you. You promised today." Then the line cut. I nearly dropped the phone. Threats, pressure, someone demanding repayment. And my daughter caught in the middle of something dangerous? I pressed the phone to my forehead, trying to breathe. This wasn't just debt. This was desperation. Someone was after her, someone she feared. And instead of coming to her father's funeral, she had been hiding. Tears stung my eyes, not grief this time, fear. I replayed the voicemail, listening to the words again and again, trying to make sense of the threat. Who were they? Why now? And why didn't she tell me sooner? Every answer led to more questions. Her fear wasn't a mistake. It wasn't rebellion. It was survival. I couldn't ignore it. I needed answers, and fast. I grabbed my keys, my chest tight with unease. The house suddenly felt too small, too full of questions. I drove to her apartment. Every red light felt like a punch to my chest. Every turn pulled me deeper into something I wasn't prepared for. When I arrived, her car wasn't in the driveway. Her mailbox was overflowing. The hallway smelled of dust and loneliness. I knocked. No answer. I knocked again, louder. Still nothing. Then, pressing my ear to the door, I heard it. A faint, buzzing sound. Her phone, vibrating inside the apartment. She was home. "Honey, open the door," I called gently. Nothing. Then from inside, a soft sound, a quiet sob. My heart cracked. "Sweetheart, please, talk to me." A long pause. Then slowly, the lock clicked. And standing there with swollen eyes, shaking hands, and a fear I had never seen in her before, was my daughter. The words she whispered next changed everything I thought I knew about her betrayal. She stood in the doorway like a shadow of herself. Eyes red, hands trembling, shoulders hunched as if the weight of the world had settled on her back. My daughter, my bright, stubborn, intelligent girl, looked like she hadn't slept in days. The hallway light flickered behind us, casting long shadows that mirrored the instability inside her. Her lips parted, but her voice barely made it past a whisper. "Mom, I didn't know how to tell you." And that was when I realized this wasn't just a mistake. It was a collapse. I stepped inside quietly. She backed up, wiping her cheek with the sleeve of a worn sweatshirt. The apartment smelled faintly of takeout containers and forgotten laundry. Her once tidy space was now scattered with papers, receipts, and open mail. She had been drowning alone. I locked the door behind me and turned to face her. "Sit," I said softly. She nodded and sank onto the couch, clutching a pillow like it was her only shield. My heart ached as I sat across from her. Every instinct in me wanted to reach out, to pull her close, to make the fear go away. "Why didn't you come to your father's funeral?" I asked, my voice steady but heavy with pain. Her chin quivered. She hugged the pillow tighter. "I couldn't," she whispered. "Why?" Her eyes squeezed shut. "Because they were outside." My heart stopped. "Who?" I asked, every nerve on edge. "The people I owe," she said, voice cracking. "They came to the apartment that morning. I couldn't leave. I was scared they'd follow me or show up at the funeral." Suddenly, her absence wasn't disrespect, it was survival. I let that sink in. She wasn't partying, she wasn't ignoring us, she wasn't rebelling, she was hiding. But then another thought formed, a sharp, painful one. "But why did you owe them money in the first place?" I pressed. Her breathing grew uneven, and then the truth spilled out. "I took a loan for a friend," she said quickly, words ripped from her chest. "She told me it was temporary. She promised she'd pay it back in a week, and then she disappeared." I swallowed hard. A friend, a promise, a debt left in her name. "How much?" I asked. She hesitated. 5,000. 5,000? I repeated. "Then why ask me for $500,000? Her body trembled, and for a moment I thought the number itself might have struck her. "I was desperate," she cried. "I thought if I asked for more than I needed, if I said it was for something big, maybe you'd just agree. I panicked. I wasn't thinking." And there it was, the confession I feared but also needed to hear. She wasn't greedy. She was terrified. But there was still a missing piece. I pointed to her phone, still buzzing softly on the counter. "Who called you?" I asked. She shook her head violently. "I don't want you involved." "I am involved," I said firmly. "The moment you asked for money, the moment you hid from the funeral, the moment someone threatened you, I became involved." Her eyes filled with tears. "I didn't mean to drag you into this," she said, voice trembling. "I just didn't want you to see me like this. Weak, trapped, messy, a failure." "You're not weak," I whispered. "You were scared. But you need to tell me everything." She took a deep, unsteady breath. "They said if I didn't pay, they'd take my car, or my job, or worse. They told me not to tell anyone. They said it would get worse if I did." Her hand shook violently. "But when they found out I didn't have the money, they got angrier. Even on the morning of the funeral, they came back. They banged on the door for almost an hour. I couldn't even call you. I was hiding in the bathroom." My chest tightened painfully. She had spent the morning of her father's funeral crouched behind a locked door, terrified of strangers who wanted repayment. Not grieving, not rebelling, hiding. Everything I thought about her absence shattered into something far more complicated. But the betrayal wasn't over. I reached for her hand. She pulled back, guilt heavy in her expression. "There's more," she whispered. Of course there was. There always is when someone hides fear behind panic. "What else?" I asked, bracing myself. She stared at the floor. "The life insurance money? I didn't want it for a car. I wanted to pay them off completely, to make it stop. But I knew you wouldn't give me money for that, so I lied." I closed my eyes. Not because of the request, but because of the lie it carried. Behind her lie was fear. Behind her fear was a threat I hadn't fully realized. "Why didn't you tell me the truth?" I asked softly. "Because I didn't want you to see me like this. Weak, trapped, messy, a failure." Her voice cracked. "I didn't want Dad to see me this way either." And then she broke. Her shoulders collapsed, her body curled forward, and sobs burst out like a dam giving way. I moved to sit beside her. I didn't speak. I didn't scold. I didn't ask more questions. I just held her. Because behind the lie, behind the fear, behind the debt, was still my daughter, and she was falling apart. Even as I held her, I knew the worst wasn't behind us.
The fear in her eyes wasn't just about debt. It was about something larger, something she hadn't told me yet. And when she finally whispered the words I'd been bracing for, my blood ran cold. She said, "There's someone else involved. Someone I've been trying to protect." Her confession landed like a physical blow. This wasn't just panic or misjudgment. This was danger. The quiet truth she had hidden was bigger than I ever imagined, and suddenly, the $500K, the missed funeral, the lies, they all pointed to something far more terrifying. I pressed her gently, urging her to continue, knowing that the next revelation would change everything. Whatever came next, I realized we would have to face it together or risk losing everything.
Her words hung in the air like smoke. Someone else involved, someone I've been trying to protect. I didn't move, I didn't speak. I could feel my pulse hammering in my ears, each beat a drum of warning. I had imagined all sorts of scenarios, the debt collectors, the panic, even betrayal. But this was something I couldn't have prepared for. "Who?" I asked finally, my voice almost a whisper. She shook her head, tears streaking her face. I can't tell you everything yet," she stammered. "They said if I talk, it could put them in danger, and I can't let that happen." My stomach dropped. Someone's life, maybe more than one, was on the line. And somehow, all of this, the lies, the missed funeral, the $500K, was connected. I took a steadying breath. "Listen," I said, trying to keep my voice calm. "We don't have to solve it all tonight, but you need to tell me what you can. We have to be smart. We can't let fear paralyze us." Her trembling hands clutched the pillow tighter. I only know bits and pieces," she whispered. "They're dangerous, smarter than me. They've been watching for months. If they knew I was trying to reach out, or that I even spoke to you, it could get worse." I felt a chill creep up my spine. This wasn't just financial danger anymore. It wasn't just about hiding from someone at the door. This was bigger. This was real danger. I leaned closer. "We face it together," I said firmly. "No more hiding, no more trying to handle it alone. We'll figure out the next step, safely, but together." Her eyes met mine, filled with a mixture of relief and terror. "I don't know if I can do this." "You're strong," I whispered. "You've been surviving every day. Now we just need to survive together and make them stop before it's too late." The apartment suddenly felt too small, the walls pressing in, the shadows of the evening stretching like dark fingers across the floor. Every creak of the radiator, every hum of the refrigerator felt like a warning. We weren't alone. Not really. And the people she had been hiding from could appear at any moment. I stood and walked to the window, pulling the curtain aside just enough to glance at the quiet street below. Nothing. Too quiet. But my instinct screamed otherwise. I need to know everything you've seen, heard, or even suspected. Even the smallest detail could make the difference. She nodded, swallowing hard. And then she began, haltingly, revealing a network of threats I hadn't imagined, a chain of people, debts, and danger that stretched far beyond her tiny apartment. Each piece made my chest tighten, each name, each action, each threat, more terrifying than the last. I kept holding her hand, grounding her, letting her know we weren't alone. Whatever had been stalking her, whatever had forced her into hiding, would now face both of us. And as she spoke, I realized we were running out of time. Every second we delayed, every pause, every unknown shadow, it was gaining ground. I knew one thing with terrifying clarity. If we weren't careful, this danger wouldn't just destroy her. It could destroy both of us.
The night pressed in on the apartment like a living thing, thick with anticipation and fear. Every sound outside, the distant wail of a siren, the bark of a dog, the soft hum of a car engine made me flinch. My daughter sat beside me, knees pulled to her chest, hands trembling as she clutched mine. "You're not alone anymore," I whispered, my voice steady, even though my heart threatened to leap from my chest. "I know," she murmured, eyes wide, "but what if they come?" "They will try," I said quietly, feeling the weight of every sleepless night, every knock at the door we'd ignored, every moment she'd hidden herself away. "But we are ready now. We are not hiding anymore. Together, we can face this." A knock shattered the tense silence. Not loud, not frantic, just deliberate, measured. It reverberated through the apartment, sharp as a warning. I froze. My daughter's grip tightened around my hand. I whispered, "Stay behind me." "No," she said, voice trembling but firm. "You need to see him first." My stomach churned as I walked to the door. Every step felt heavy, every heartbeat a countdown. I opened it. Daniel stood there, calm, controlled, smiling, but the smile didn't reach his eyes. A predator, I realized instantly, and yet a man with a plan. "I was hoping to see you," he said smoothly. "The daughter told me everything. I want to help." I flinched. "How can you help after leaving her in debt, terrified and alone?" I demanded. His jaw tightened. "He miscalculated," he admitted. "But hiding the truth now puts us all at risk." I swallowed hard, my pulse racing. "Explain. Now." He stepped inside, eyes scanning every detail of the apartment, cataloging every vulnerability like a chess master plotting his moves. "He's a network," he said finally. "Dangerous people. They don't forgive mistakes. I used the loan as a distraction, to shield her, to shield you." My blood ran cold. Every sleepless night, every knock at the door we'd ignored, every moment she'd hidden herself away, they all fit together now. My daughter took a tentative step forward, voice barely audible. "Maybe he's telling the truth. Maybe he's trying to fix it." I turned to her, my chest tight with disbelief and anger. "How can you trust him after everything?" "I don't know," she admitted, "but I can't do this alone." A sudden vibration drew all our attention. His phone buzzed. A text, sharp and cold. 48 hours or else. Time was running out. Every second that passed tightened the noose. Daniel's expression darkened. "He knows I'm here. If we don't act now, they'll come for all of us." I clenched my fists, forcing my fear down. "We'll face them," I said firmly. "Together." He nodded once, eyes hard. He said, "The window is closing." And then the real work began. Step by step, Daniel guided us through the plan. First, the authorities, but carefully, no sudden calls that might alert the network. Next, financial accounts secured, every card, every bank line monitored. Finally, precautions. Doors double locked, alarms reset, every exit mapped, every shadow checked. Each step felt like walking a tightrope over fire. One misstep, one wrong move, and the consequences could be deadly. We worked in tense silence. The apartment, once a sanctuary, felt like a war room. Even the air felt thick, charged with fear. Hours passed like days.
Every creak, every gust of wind against the windows, every car stopping outside made us flinch. And then the knock came again. This time faster, more insistent. A reminder that danger wasn't waiting politely, it was at the door. Daniel motioned for us to stay inside, but my daughter's eyes were wide with panic. "What if they break in?" she whispered. "They won't," I said firmly, though my hands shook. "We've prepared, we are ready, and we face this together." Later, after the tension had stretched thin, we finally sat together on the couch. My daughter rested her head on my shoulder, trembling, but slowly exhaling some of the fear she carried alone. "I'm sorry," she whispered. "I shouldn't have tried to handle it all alone." I hugged her tightly. "None of this is your fault," I said. "You did what you thought was right. You tried to protect us the only way you knew how. That is love, not weakness." We stayed like that for a long moment, the shadows dancing on the walls, the weight of weeks pressing down. But finally, there was a fragile thread of hope. Daniel spoke quietly, breaking the silence. "We can't let them win. Not tonight, not ever. We move fast, stay calm, and act together." We nodded, united, hearts pounding. Every instinct screamed danger. Every nerve was alert. And then came the final mini hook. A whisper from outside, almost too soft to hear. A shadow flickered past the window. A car door slammed in the distance. The night was far from over, but one thing was clear. We were no longer hiding. We were standing, trembling, scared, but ready. Together, we would face whatever came next.
The first light of dawn barely pierced the sky, gray and hesitant, as if the world itself was holding its breath. I hadn't slept. Every creak of the house, every whisper of wind against the windows felt magnified, warning me that today would decide everything. My daughter and I moved like shadows, checking locks, double-checking alarms, and rehearsing every move Daniel had outlined. We were ready, or as ready as anyone could be when facing unseen enemies. "Mom," she whispered, gripping my hand tightly. "Together," I said, squeezing back, my voice steadier than I felt. Courage doesn't erase fear. It only forces you to stand despite it. Hours passed, each second stretched into a lifetime. Then it began. A black SUV rolled slowly up our driveway, silent and deliberate. Two men stepped out, their movements precise, professional, ruthless. I held my daughter close, my pulse hammering in my ears. Every instinct screamed danger. Every instinct told me to run. But we couldn't. We had to face them. Daniel's voice was calm, low, controlled. "Stay inside. Watch. Wait." He moved with precision, coordinating with authorities and protective measures we had rehearsed. Every shadow, every movement outside the window was accounted for, but the tension didn't lift. They came closer. The SUV doors opened. Two more figures emerged, their faces hidden, intent clear. We had prepared for confrontation, but nothing could have readied my chest for the adrenaline, the fear, the helplessness, all rolled into one. Then chaos erupted. Authorities, perfectly timed, moved in from hidden positions. Shouts, orders, commands. Shots were fired, not at us, but as warnings, punctuating the dark morning. The air was thick with tension, the threat tangible. I clutched my daughter, whispering prayers I didn't know I believed in. Her trembling began to ease, not entirely, but enough that hope flickered behind the terror. Minutes felt like hours.
And then it was over. The men were taken into custody, the immediate threat neutralized. We exhaled as one, relief, exhaustion, and fear mingling into a fragile peace. Daniel returned to the apartment, weary but composed. He misjudged the danger, he admitted, and I misjudged your strength. I met his gaze, steady. You didn't protect us before, I said, soft but firm. But you tried this time. That counts for something. My daughter let out a breath she didn't realize she'd been holding. The bond we had feared broken had been tested, and somehow it had grown stronger. The aftermath was sobering. Financial accounts were secured, debt erased, the network of threats dismantled. And yet the scars remained, emotional, mental, and physical. But for the first time in weeks, the house felt safe. The fear that had ruled our lives had been replaced, finally, by cautious hope. Later, as we sat together, the adrenaline faded, leaving only quiet reflection. I held my daughter's hand. Life doesn't protect the innocent, I said softly, but it rewards those who refuse to give up. We talked about what had happened, the lies, the fear, the choices, the betrayal, but also about courage, resilience, and love. Some truths were harsh. Fear is temporary, but courage is lasting. Trust must be earned, but sometimes it must be offered to heal wounds. Family isn't just blood, it's the people who stand with you when the world turns dark. I hugged my daughter tightly. No matter what comes next, I whispered, we survive. Together. Always. Weeks passed. Life returned slowly to a new rhythm. The house, once heavy with dread, now hummed with cautious hope. My daughter laughed again, more freely. She no longer hid from me, or from life. And me. I learned that strength doesn't mean never falling. It means standing again every single time for the people you love. The true inheritance wasn't money, it wasn't possessions. It was courage, resilience, the unbreakable bond between a mother and child. That night, as I tucked my daughter in, I felt peace, not the absence of danger, but the knowledge that together we could face it and survive. Life will test you in ways you never imagined. Betrayal, fear, and danger may knock on your door, but the strongest families, the ones worth fighting for, survive because love and courage refuse to be defeated. No fortune, no inheritance, no outsider can give you what you can build with bravery and heart. Sometimes surviving together is the greatest triumph of all.
Thank you for spending your time with me. If this story touched something in you, share your thoughts in the comments. Your truth deserves to be echoed. This is She Echoed, where every story finds its voice.